Behind me is the border with Macedonia, the infamous border now, where people from here were tear gassed and had rubber bullets fired at them very, very recently. If you look closely, there are two tanks just on the other side. I don't really know what those tanks fear from these children here drinking tea from a plastic, no, it's not actually, it's an empty jam jar. So that's where we are, surrounded by children and women and some men.
There are hundreds of organizations who are supposed to help these people. There are hundreds of organizations who are supposed to bring lawyers, who are supposed to do the legal work for these people, but the problem is that these organizations are not doing their work. They're just like leaving these people alone, and the only thing that they're doing for them is just moving them from one tent, from one camp to another. That's all what they're doing. So all the work that we are as volunteers are doing here, that is supposed to be international organizations' work, and this is totally disgusting.
The unaccompanied minor story, they tell me there are 80 alone here in this camp that are undocumented, and wrong dates of birth, no papers, nothing. You find a situation, a case, a specific case, and you speak with the authorities who are supposedly dealing with that, and they will tell you, oh, this is only one of thousands, there are many more. This woman's life is reduced to a plastic bag, and worse than that, this plastic bag is worth nothing. She has a passport for each of her children and for herself here. Passports issued by the issuing authority in the city where she lived. Deir el-Zor is the city she lived in. Unfortunately, that city is now under the control of ISIS and Daesh. So to have a passport issue there, she had to get it from that authority, if we call it that. Her husband is already in Germany and has been there for over 2 years. She applied under the family reunification scheme in Turkey to be reunited with her husband in Germany, and she was granted that right to be reunited with her husband. However, on the 25th of December, Christmas Day, she was told by the German embassy in Istanbul that she cannot proceed because these passports are no longer recognized. They are not official passports. So she's in a catch-22 situation, as are other people here in this camp. She lives or lived in a city that's now under the control of ISIS. Her passports are issued by a wing of ISIS. She can't go forward. However, if she lived in Damascus and if she had applied under the family reunification scheme, her passports would be issued by the government and she would be able to go forward. So she's stuck here. She can't go forwards or she can't go backwards, because to go back, she has to be smuggled through Turkey to get back into Syria, and she has to pay for that. She can't go back to Syria as an independent citizen. She has to be smuggled back. How can she do that with 6 children? What role does the international community have in establishing and maintaining the rights of these children who are boiling spuds on the ground in a black saucepan for their dinner, and a woman who is responsible for 6 children trying to get them to her husband in Germany? Where are their rights? Do we not have an international court of human rights who can establish her rights, her right to hold a valid passport, and her right to have the passport that is issued to her in compliance with the regulations with where she lives to be recognised? Someone has to answer for this, because she can't answer, and neither can her son, who has become the father of this family. And I certainly can't answer. This is this woman's life. She doesn't look like a terrorist, neither do any one of them, but they're being treated like terrorists. As she said, she held up the passport of one of her children, and she said to me, "Does he look like Daesh?" I don't think so. I don't think so.
الله كريم يلا عادي عادي.
No.
اسمي منان من حلب.
He's here since 3 months. He left from Syria on the 21st of February. From Turkey, from the 21st of February.
يعني ما طولنا تقريبا شهر.
He did not spend a long time, it was like almost a month. He was expecting that he wouldn't have to wait here for a long time. He thought that it would be like a week and then he'll be already in Germany. He says like we became like unknown, no one knows about us, no one talks about us.
ما حدا عم بيحكي فينا ابدا.
He says like it's unbearable to be here because like daily you have to stand up in line for 4 hours. And you have like when you want to get food and the food is not a good quality, and it's becoming like impossible to live here.
بدك تستنى يعني شي 3-4 ساعات ليجيك الدور. والله انه يفتح الحدود.
Like he said that he's hopeless. Like he says like there is no hope that they will open the border because they've been here since 2 months and a half, and every time they say that like they give them dates. They say like maybe next week, maybe in the 5th of the month, maybe in the 13th, and then every time the time comes, the border is still closed. So he's like there is no possibility for the borders open. And also like he says when the border is open, like what he hopes for, like he wants to reunite with his family in Europe, like in Germany. He has got brothers and sisters, and he's also like the reason why he left Syria is just because he wants to look for safety for himself and also to get married, and he wants his children to go to a nice school, to have a nice life, and he doesn't want them to suffer the same way he had to suffer.
يعني بدنا نفكر بالمستقبل مشان اطفالنا. بدنا نأمن لهم حياة المستقبل وكل شيء.
The camp is up over here. I saw them yesterday at Echo. They had people gathered behind the second filling station, and they were giving them stuff. This looks like a van that's delivering stuff as well, doesn't it?
I've never came to this side, so what
Yeah.
I've heard is that everyone in this area, this side is an Afghani.
تركم الخيمة.
أخش على كل خيمة 1 2 3 وأنا بكرة باجي أنا وأنت بمسكك من إيدك هيك بخش على الخيمة بشوف مين اللي فيها باخذ اللي فيها وبروح بجيب له إياه وبرجع له إياه.
ماشي أنا معك.
بجهز له الكيس تبعه
بتعرف ليش؟
بطلع لهذا على السيارة بعطي له إياها وبنرجع ثاني.
هيك ايوه هو حاله كم نفر؟ السلام عليكم.
قديش نمرة اجرك يا فهد؟
42
كمان 3
سامي وانا 43.
Oh, I know. Welcome to our life. This is men's, ladies, babies, mixed. Like buggies, blankets, all that kind of stuff.
Clothes, all of it, clothes?
No, a lot more than clothes. This is clothes and shoes. Clothes and shoes. Had 5 men. So 42, 43.
This for clothes?
542.
5 by 42, 1 by 43.
143?
Yeah. 2 by 40.
Yeah, all of them. هدول لحالهم. هدول كلهم نحطهم فوق بعضهم. الكراتين نحطهم فوق بعضهم عشان ما نضيع.
البواب مساوي.
ايه الحفاظة؟
سلام.
Well, we visited Wahiba to inform her of the information that we were given, that there is a possibility for a person who doesn't have a passport to be granted International Red Cross travel papers. And with help from people at home, mostly Lar McCarthy and Clonakilty, we're hoping that we might be able to explore that option for her, so that she will be given papers to replace the passports that she now possesses. Apparently these papers will allow her travel once to one country, and that's all she wants to do.
She was like totally happy that she heard that there is some hope for her to cross the border and to meet her husband, like after all what she's been through. But at the same time she's a little bit afraid. She doesn't know if we are going to help her out or not. I told her we're going to try to help you out, but we're not like 100% sure that this is going to work, but at least there is hope for it.
Her husband is already in Germany. He has a back problem. He's living in Berlin. He would be here if he were able to be here, but he can't because he's physically unable to be here. And she wants to join him. She hasn't spoken to him for 4 days because of a broken phone, so we allowed her, or asked her if she'd like to make a phone call this evening, so she did speak with him. It was very emotional for both him and for her and for all of us present, because it looks as if she's clinging now to this glimmer of hope that may or may not work, but we can only try and we must try.
Her husband was like really happy to hear her voice. He was surprised that she was on the phone. Like he was like, "Hello, you're talking from a different number," and this is like surprising to me. So yeah, and then we explained to him like what's going on and what we're trying to do here, that we were going to talk to the Red Cross and to get her a separate passport or to help her out, like get her work done. And yeah, and he was like really happy. He was like really thankful that we're trying to help her, his wife, get united with him.
جونتك ما جبت هرق والدي هرقت والدي مالك تجي بعد وجهك
Are we looking over here? Are we going to look over here? We're all going to look over here. There we go. Bertrand shall be caroling in you. Hello.
Hello.